Chapter 7, The Gathering Storm Present, Bloemfontein, 2015. Bloemfontein had a strange silence to it now. Once, it had been the heartbeat of Marnus's youth. Rugby games, braais with friends, beers passed around under jacaranda trees, while laughter spilled into the night. It was a place of belonging. Familiar. Safe. But the man who walked those streets now was no longer welcome. He could feel it in the way doors shut when he passed, the way conversations died when he entered a shop. The way people who once shared bread and brandy with him now turned their eyes to the ground, muttering under their breath. There were words he heard over and over. Cursed, dangerous, stay away from him. They didn't know the half of it. Spirit battle, wolves in the blood. That night the curse came alive again. The dream opened with the sound of distant howling. He stood barefoot on the red dust of the veld, the moon hanging low and fat in the sky. His body ached, his veins burned, the lion within him clawing to get out. And then they came. Shadows in the grass. Low growls, eyes glinting red. Wolves, not ordinary wolves, but twisted abominations, half human, half beast. Their muzzles dripped black saliva, their claws were long as daggers. Worst of all were their faces. He knew them. The first one lunged forward, teeth bared. Its eyes were hollow, but the jawline, the scar, it was Piet. His old drinking mate, the one who once carried him home when the brandy made the world spin. Piet? Marnus whispered. The wolf snarled, its voice broken, warped, but unmistakable. You poison everything you touch. Even friendship dies in your hands. It leapt. Marnus roared back, his claws slashing, the lion's golden light sparking from his body. He tore Piet Wolf apart, but even as it dissolved to ash, two more burst from the shadows. Each one wore another familiar face. Friends, co-workers, brothers from the army. Men who once called him family now circled him with fangs bared. Marnus, one howled, you bring only death. You are cursed. Another cried, its voice a grotesque echo of his neighbour. The pack swarmed him, teeth tearing, claws raking. He fought like a cornered lion, but the blood loss was heavy, his body trembling with exhaustion. Every strike felled one wolf, but two more rose. He couldn't win. Then, through the haze of pain, came a voice. Soft, steady, unyielding. Kirsten. Marnus, you are not alone. You hear me? You are not alone. Her voice wasn't in the dream. It was real, through the phone, still in his hand in the waking world. She had fallen asleep on the line, but somehow her spirit slipped into the storm. The lion in him stirred. Golden fire blazed from his claws. With a roar that split the veld, he slammed the earth, and the shockwave sent wolves flying, dissolving them into smoke. Only one remained. The biggest. The strongest. Its face still Piet's, but its eyes bottomless pits of shadow. It hissed as it stalked forward. No one can be trusted. Not even her. You'll lose her, just as you lost the others. It lunged. Marnus met it head-on, teeth and claws colliding in a burst of fire. The dream shattered. Present, Bloemfontein. Marnus woke with his heart pounding, his body slick with sweat. The phone buzzed in his hand. A new message from Kirsten blinked on the screen. I don't know how, but I felt the wolves tonight. They weren't strangers. They were people around you, weren't they? He swallowed hard. She was right. The curse wasn't just sending beasts. It was twisting the spirits of those closest to him, turning their reflections into monsters. And in the daylight, it showed. At the construction site, Piet barely met his eyes. The men he once joked with avoided him. Even neighbours he had helped with food and money crossed the street when he walked by. It was as if the curse had marked him in their eyes. They couldn't see the lion, but they felt the darkness. And in their fear, they abandoned him. Past 2001, Lawton, Oklahoma. In the middle of betrayal, his mind drifted to a time before. Fort Sill, Lawton, the summer of 2001. She had spilled her coffee. He had handed her a napkin. That was how it began. Kirsten had been everything Sudan and South Africa had not. Light, laughter, peace. They had driven for hours beneath Oklahoma skies, music blaring, her hand warm in his. He had kissed her once under a neon diner sign, and the world had felt whole. He hadn't told her then about the child in Sudan. He hadn't told her about the curse. For those brief weeks, he let himself believe he could be just a man, not a lion, not cursed, not broken. But the flight back to South Africa came too soon, and with it, the silence. Letters left unanswered, distance growing into years, and yet she was still here, after everything, still his anchor, still the only one who reached through the storm. Present. The angel Marcus. The night after the wolf dream, he saw the angel, not blazing like Gabriel had, but cloaked in shadow, as though made of thunderclouds. His eyes burned faint silver, his presence filling the room. "I am Marcus," the angel said. "Where Gabriel is flame, I am storm. You are hunted, Lion Man, not just by beasts, but by betrayals." Marnus clenched his fists. "Everyone's turning on me, even people I thought were family." Marcus nodded. "That is the curse's way. It isolates. It breaks trust. It feeds the lie that you are alone." "And if I am?" Marnus's voice cracked. "If I lose even her?" The angel's gaze softened. "The bond between you and Kirsten is stronger than any beast. But you must endure. If you fall, she falls too. Her soul is tied to yours." Then the storm faded, leaving him alone with the weight of the warning. Closing. The wolves would come again. Of that Marnus was sure. And perhaps worse than wolves were the faces behind them. Men and women he once trusted, now twisted into enemies by the curse. Bloemfontein was no longer home. It was a battlefield. But even in the gathering storm, one truth remained. Across oceans, across 20 years of pain, Kirsten was still there. Still fighting for him. Still the reason he roared. And for her, he would fight until his last breath. Chapter 8. Betrayals Present. Bloemfontein, 2015. The betrayal didn't come with knives or gunshots. It came with whispers. One by one, the people Marnus had trusted turned from him. The men he had worked beside on scaffolds and steel beams began to refuse him jobs. He heard it in the pubs, at the petrol stations, in the market, his name spoken in hushed-hush tones, his character shredded behind his back. "Marnus is dangerous. He brings bad luck. Stay away from him, you'll regret it." By the time the sun dipped low over Bloemfontein's streets, he could barely walk without feeling eyes on him. The warmth of friendship had curdled into suspicion, and at the centre of it all was Pyatt. Pyatt, who had once been his brother. Pyatt, who had shared cigarettes with him when the night stretched too long. Pyatt, who had been the first wolf in the dream. The dream had been a warning. Spirit battle. The serpent that night, the curse took shape again. He found himself standing in a ruined church, the stone walls split, the roof gone. A storm churned overhead. He was barefoot, his claws already extended, the lion pacing just beneath his skin. Then came the sound. A hiss. From the cracked altar slithered a massive serpent, its scales black as tar, its tongue flickering in and out. Its body was thick as a man's torso, winding around the pews, shattering wood as it moved. But it wasn't just a snake. Its face shifted. Sometimes the face of Pyatt, sometimes the face of other friends who had turned cold in the waking world. The serpent carried all their betrayals in its eyes. "You trust too easily, Lion Man," it hissed, "and every hand you shake is a fang at your throat." Marnus growled, circling. His claws itched to strike, but the serpent was fast, darting and coiling, always just out of reach. It struck suddenly, its fangs grazing his shoulder, venom searing through his veins. He staggered back, the world spinning, his breath catching fire. And then, through the haze, came Kirsten's voice. Not on the phone this time, but inside him. "Marnus, you know who you are. Don't let lies define you. Remember the truth. You are mine, and I am yours." Her words cut through the poison like light through darkness. His blood ignited, golden fire searing the venom. With a roar, he pounced, catching the serpent mid-strike. His claws tore through its flesh, his teeth sank deep into its throat. The beast writhed, screeched, then dissolved into black smoke. But before it vanished completely, it hissed one final time, "You cannot escape betrayal. Even she will doubt you." And then it was gone. Present. Bloemfontein, after the dream. He woke in his bed, chest heaving, his shoulder still burning as if the serpent's venom lingered. Sweat soaked his sheets. His phone buzzed. A message from Kirsten. "I dreamt of a snake tonight. Did you fight one?" His blood froze. She had seen it too. Past 2001, Lawton, Oklahoma. For a moment, he let his mind drift back to the summer where things had been simple. Kirsten had been studying in Lawton, her hair pulled back in the sweltering Oklahoma heat. They had walked hand in hand past the barracks, her laughter rising above the cicadas. There had been no serpents then, no betrayals, just the easy trust of two souls who had found each other in a world that was too big, too cruel. He remembered the way she had touched his face once, her thumb brushing the scar along his cheek. "You'll never have to fight alone," she had whispered. Back then, he had believed her. Present. The angel Gabriel returns. The night after the serpent, the angel Gabriel appeared once more, blazing like fire in the corner of his room. You survived, Gabriel said, but the venom remains. Marnus sat up, his voice hoarse. It said she would betray me, that even Kirsten will doubt me. Gabriel's gaze was fierce. That is the serpent's weapon. Lies. Distrust. It feeds on the cracks in your soul. If you let it grow, you will lose her. Marnus's hands trembled. I can't lose her. She's all I have left. Then hold fast, Gabriel said, because the serpent will not be the last. Greater beasts are coming, stronger, cunning. Each one will strip more from you until nothing remains. Unless what? Gabriel's fire dimmed. Unless love anchors you to who you are. Then the light faded, leaving Marnus in darkness once again. Closing. In the days that followed, Piet grew colder, the men around him more distant. The curse was no longer just in his dreams. It had spread into waking life, weaving betrayal through every relationship he had. But when the weight threatened to crush him, he would hear her voice. Kirsten. Across oceans, across decades. His protector. His lifeline. And though the serpent's words lingered like venom in his blood, he clung to her message. You are mine, and I am yours. The battles were far from over. The curse was only beginning to bear its fangs. Chapter 9. The Leopard's Shadow. Present. Bloemfontein, winter 2015. The nights were growing colder, but inside Marnus the fire burned hotter. Each beast he faced left scars that didn't fade. Each betrayal added weight to a soul already cracked by grief. Yet tonight the curse shifted again. It didn't come in whispers or shadows. It came in the face of his children. Madri, the daughter he had lost when Carol left. Tabitha, the daughter he had held for too short a time before divorce tore her away. He saw their eyes in every window, every mirror, every photograph that still survived in his battered home. Eyes filled with questions he could never answer, and then the dreams began again. Spirit Realm. The leopard appears. The world was a hunting ground. Tall grass swayed, gold in the light of a fading sun. Marnus stood alone, bare chest rising, claws extending against his will. The lion inside him stirred uneasily, restless. From the grass came the sound of paws, silent, predatory. And then the leopard emerged. Its coat shimmered with black rosettes, its muscles rippling with lethal grace. But its eyes were human. Madri's eyes, then Tabitha's, then the eyes of every child he had failed. The beast prowled in a circle, its growl low, vibrating the ground. You cannot protect them, it purred. You were never meant to be a father. Look at what you've done. Drugs, drink, despair. What child could ever be safe with you? Marnus felt his knees weaken. The truth in the beast's words cut deeper than its claws ever could. He had failed. He knew it. But Kirsten's voice broke through the grass like a wind. Marnus, they are not gone. They are still part of you. Love does not end because you stumbled. He clenched his fists. The lion within him roared. The leopard lunged. The battle. Fatherhood and failure. Claws met claws. The leopard struck with blinding speed, raking across Marnus's chest, blood spilling hot onto the earth. Marnus countered, slashing, but the beast slipped away like smoke, always striking where he was weakest. Every cut came with a memory. Carol's scream the night she left. The silent crib where Tabitha had once slept. The empty birthdays. Each wound whispered the same refrain. You failed them. The leopard pounced again, jaws snapping at his throat. He staggered under the weight, claws tearing at fur, trying to push it off. And then he saw them, Madri and Tabitha, not as accusing shadows, but as children, reaching for him. Papa! Tabitha's voice whispered. Stand. Strength flooded him. He roared, the sound echoing through the plains, shaking the grass flat. With one final surge, he seized the leopard's throat and slammed it to the ground. His claws tore through its chest, light spilling out instead of blood. The beast convulsed, then dissolved into sparks, fading into the wind. Present. Awakening in pain. Marnus woke on his bed, chest heaving, blood seeping through his shirt. The claw marks were still there, deep and raw, as if the leopard had followed him into the waking world. He reached for his phone with trembling fingers. Kirsten had sent a message. I saw them, your girls. They forgive you. Don't give up. His vision blurred with tears. He pressed the phone to his chest, whispering to the ceiling. Madri, Tabitha, forgive me. Past, Bloemfontein, 2010. The memory slammed into him like another claw. He had been sitting in the kitchen, bottle half empty, when Carol's final words echoed. "I can't do this anymore, Marnus. You love the bottle more than us. Marjorie deserves better. I deserve better." The door had slammed. He had chased them, stumbling, crying, promising to change. But the promises had been too late. That night, alone in the quiet house, he had felt the curse stir for the first time, a faint growl in his chest, the ghost of claws in his hands. He hadn't understood then, but now he knew. The leopard had been born the night he lost them. It had been waiting all this time to finish the job. Present. Gabriel's warning. As dawn broke, Gabriel appeared again, his wings stretched wide, his voice thunderous. "The leopard is defeated, but its wounds will stay. Guilt is a beast that never truly dies. You must carry it, Marnus, but do not let it chain you." Marnus wiped the blood from his chest. "How many more beasts, Gabriel? How many before I'm free?" The angel's eyes softened. 20. Marnus froze. His breath caught in his throat. 20? 20 trials. 20 beasts, 20 battles to prove that love can overcome the curse. And if I fail, Gabriel's fire dimmed, then you will not be Marnus anymore. You will be only the lion, and she too will be lost to you. The angel vanished, leaving Marnus trembling. 20. He didn't know if he could survive 20. But then his phone buzzed. A photo from Kirsten, her smile, radiant, holding her youngest daughter, Ray Lee. "We're waiting for you." And in that moment, the lion stirred. Not in rage, not in despair, but in hope.